saw the storm before we felt the rain. Does your judgment don't miss nobody? Not then, not now. Oh, oh. From Zion came that voice, heavy like a lion's roar. Most High calling out the nation, settling every score. Gaza, Damascus tide, he said, I remember what you done. Fire gon' meet your strongholds when the reckoning comes. Ain't no hiding from the truth when the trumpet begins. He said, for 3 transgressions, and yeah, for 4 I ain't holding it in. Judgment rolling in like thunder on the plain. Ain't no peace when wicked men keep playing with.
Plantation, 9 to 5 be the time I was wasting. Man, I feel like I need a vacation, saving up for my resignation. Why I feel like my manager hating, ain't the one for no verbal castration. This government ain't giving reparation. We'll go to crime trying to fight the temptation.
Rejoice in tribulations, demonstrate patience in every situation, picking up the pieces to their heart restoration. People broken hearted and in need of salvation. We in captivity, we done lost our history, disconnected from his laws, now there's no integrity. Here's the book and let them see, because they dying in these streets, walking in darkness, and where the carcass is, the eagles be. Walking in darkness and where the carcass around us like vultures, murder on their mind when they approach us. Let your light shine, watch them scatter like roaches. Babylon falling cause we taking back our culture. Heal our land, Abba now, put us back in agriculture. This word burning them up, Romans is a flamethrower. We prophesy destruction, nukes coming, game over. International, continental, ballistic missile. Them bombs dropping like rain, no drizzle. The lake of fire make them sizzle, showing fruits of the spirit. We don't gather figs of thistles. That's the dog, you know, so just like you were saying.
Hey, my name is Amani Bright Laws. I'm a travel business owner. My business is Always Shine Bright Travel, where we help you discover your next bright destination. I want to talk to you really quickly today about becoming a travel business owner. Listen, if your passion is traveling, if your passion is exploring the world, if your passion is wanting to travel and explore the world, then you should become a travel business owner, okay? I have 2 easy ways to get started. Less than 1 minute, okay? The first way, up here, our website, travelagentworkshop.com. And please use my sponsor ID, Always Shine Bright. Okay, the second way is a text code. Text the word workshop to the number 281-767-9711. And again, reference my sponsor ID, Always Shine Bright. Okay, listen, the workshop is free. It's a free 3-day workshop, which gives you all the information on how to get started to become a travel business owner. Okay, any questions that you have will get answered within that workshop. Okay, so let me meet you on the money-making side of travel, where you can turn your passion into your paycheck.
Y'all know what time it is. It's your boy, Chef D-Nail, over here at Guess Who's Cooking. Good cooking, good eating, good living. Y'all know how we do it every Sunday about this time, man. We're going to get straight to it. We got the chicken and dumplings, all right? We got the perch fish with the mac and cheese, with the yams, with the 5 cheese toast over here on the Texas side. And of course, we got the world famous turkey tips, all right? We also got, on this one, we got the greens with the turkey tails, and we got the spaghetti. You already know what time it is, man. Hit the link, 773-992-4737 is the phone number to place your order every Sunday, all right? And you can hit us up on the Cash App to make payments at Guess Who's Cooking, the number 2. All right. You can hit the www.guesswho'scooking on the World Wide Web. You can catch us on Facebook Marketplace under Guess Who's Cooking. And, of course, on TikTok, man, at Guess Who's Cooking. Come on down. Get your orders.
Give me shame, I give you peace from underneath. Give me mind and being light to reignite. Can you open up the doors to let me in? Can you open up the doors to let me in? You could put the heart inside, don't touch my head. As I sing the love inside from out my mouth. Tell me what you need to find. Tell me now. Tell me what you need to find.
In the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Nah, that's the chariot coming back to save the game. It's a bloodline thing, we not the same. You think this shit a game? We about to rage, look in the sky, blue beam movie, distraction from what's really happening. All these heathens, they astonished. Look at the lights and look at the violence, look at the weather, look at the power. They got spacecraft, no real pilot. They tryna break through when they wildin'. When the land break through, y'all gon' be silent. He coming back for who really solid. Surrounded by water in a dome that's solid. Glass jar, hard bars. I'm in predictions like Bart Simpson. Stop, mark, charge, shoot far down below. Protect your neck and protect your soul. We in the land where anything goes.
Far above your atlas, demons get no access. Evangelists, activists, and I do get active. Christianity and sanity, deserted like a cactus. Pricked by the Blix, automatic acrobatics. Make a heathen aerodynamic, floating backwards. I carry iron like my son is a blacksmith. heavenly realms, heavenly dwell in the Torah Milky Way on a galactical scale. Flow solar, hawk, polar, Yahweh soldier. With composure, stay sober, the world is over. When the prophets arrive, keep it kosher.
Shalom, shalom. How's everybody doing tonight? I'm Brother Hashar. Just bringing out another iron sharpen iron. All right. So again, everyone, I'm Brother Hashar Namar. Before I begin, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh by Shemba Mashak Yahweh Shah. I love to give double honors to the elders of HOI, Elder Zabak, Elder Torah, Elder Sabal, to Deacon Shalpar, and the Captain REI, and to all the senior men and men who was putting in this work, and to the ladies, I like to say Shalom, Shalom, Shamar. All right, everyone. So, tonight we're going to do a class on MLK, Martin Luther King. I'm not going to be too winded, you know what I'm saying? We're going to go ahead and break it down how we're going to do. I wanted to do 3 phases, but we just do 2 phases of it. We're going to talk about them a little bit. Go ahead and give you some videos. We all know about Martin Luther King. All right. We all know about the I Had a Dream speech. I'll be 50 in a few weeks. So when I was in elementary school, we had to listen to this speech every year. Okay. So we had to listen to this thing every year. I don't know. I think they still listen to it in school. I got kids all various ages, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we heard about him," but they really talk about like Rosa Parks and stuff because over the years the man has been slandered. You know what I'm saying? But again, we're going to talk about a couple phases. Talk about his, when he ministered. Talk about his dad a little bit. Show you guys some videos. Talk about the "I Have a Dream" speech. How is that's that was one of the major red flags in Jeremiah about a false prophet and stuff like that. But first thing and foremost, I like to say that the white man, white woman, and child is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. So I like to put that out there first thing and foremost. So again, we're going to talk about MLK, the rise and fall, and why. Okay. I don't know. Hopefully my internet ain't acting all crazy. My picture. All right, how we doing? It was looking kind of slow. So we're going to give you a brief synopsis on Dr. King, and then we're going to go to the Bible to make you aware that he was a false prophet. However, he still was a brilliant man, smart man. All right. So basically, it's like this. The Most High, he's slow to anger. So you guys got to put, he's this, he's that. Well, he was still being built as a man, and he still did some good things. You know what I'm saying? However, he led us to that burning building. So, Martin Luther King, he was an American Baptist minister and one of the most influential leaders of the civil rights movement and what we call the United States. He was born January 15th, 1929, in Atlanta, ATL, as people call it, Georgia. And he became known for his powerful speaking, moral leadership, and commitment to nonviolent protests.
He worked to end racial segregation, discrimination against what we call today African Americans, especially in the 50s and the 60s. And we're going to talk about that, like how the civil rights movement, it wasn't just about integration, it was about a lot of things and how we got played doing that. Okay. And how he couldn't see that, because it was so many different facets of the civil rights movement. Okay. So we say it started about the 1950s to the 60s. Okay. And also, he believed social change should be achieved through peaceful means inspired by Christians' teachings and philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi. Now, we all know about Gandhi, right? The little skinny dude from India, the little Hindu dude, because he was trying to do peaceful things over there in India, because the Brits was ruling India at the time. So he used a lot of his ways to do a non-violent protest and stuff like that. Plus, we only made up a certain percentage and we didn't have the weapons and stuff. So again, that would be kind of unwise decision to bear arms. Yes, we know we are Hebrew Israelites. We know about the curses. We know we are in captivity. We're going to touch on all of that. So don't get beside yourself. Some of you new Hebrew Israelites, hey man, yeah, but we in captivity. Yeah, well, he didn't know that. He was teaching that Christianity, okay? And we all know that Christianity, all right? So with that being said, when he came into the fight, it was around the time of the Montgomery bus, boycott and stuff like that. And, some of us was believe that, the civil rights movement started with the sanitation workers. I'm going to get into that. They did a lot of things to bury his his legacy, but we're not here to really talk about that. We just focusing on the false prophecy of this man and what he did and how it was prophesied in the Bible, and then we're going to touch on certain things that he did accomplish or tried to accomplish. But the main thing is he was a Christian and he tried to do this without the what's up, brother? So without the without wearing fringes, about where is he? Shalom. Yabashim Shabrakata. Okay. Are you the reader?
Sure.
Okay, God. The water came. All right. So we all know about his, I Have a Dream speech. All right, that was in Washington, 1963. So just want to give you guys a quick little understanding of who this man is. I hope everybody on here heard of MLK, okay, as we know him as Dr. Martin Luther King. And let's get into the first video. Baba Kusha. Yeah, we're gonna wait till you get that up. But the first video is going to go into some of what we shouldn't do, okay, and how we should have been after we got out of slavery and after the Emancipation Proclamation. These Jim Crow laws, all these different things were going on. Brothers was trying to, and the white man, he was on it. He already put that Christianity in your head and got these brothers out here preaching and trying to get something, not knowing he's trying to continuously push a narrative, but at the same time not telling us why we went into slavery. You know what I'm saying? Because this, Dr. Martin Luther King, very educated man. All right. So it's like how you didn't see that you were an Israelite, but that Christianity is something else. All right, brother, you go ahead and play it.
Right.
Turn your camera off so it don't stall it.
And I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
Today, Martin Luther King is just a 20th century or modern Uncle Tom or a religious Uncle Tom who is doing the same thing today to keep Negroes defenseless in the face of attack that Uncle Tom did on the plantation to keep those Negroes defenseless in the face of the attack of the Klan in that.
Well, I don't think of love as, in this context, as emotional bosh. I don't think of it as a weak force. But I think of love as something strong that organizes itself in powerful direct action.
You truly believe then that nonviolence is the sole, the universal answer to injustice and oppression?
Very definitely. Very definitely. I feel that nonviolence, organized nonviolent resistance is the most powerful weapon that oppressed people can use in breaking loose from the bondage of oppression. Now, the other method that one might use is that of resignation, acquiescence.
Both parties, are you satisfied with President Eisenhower?
When will you be satisfied? We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of police brutality. We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negro's basic mobility is from a smaller ghetto to a larger one. We can never be satisfied as long as our children are stripped of their selfhood and robbed of their dignity by signs stating for whites only. This appears to be the result of an internal...
But you are dissatisfied with the overall performance of both the President's party and of the Democratic Party?
Oh, yes. I think both parties could improve, and I think both parties must come to the point that they see the moral issues involved rather than making a political football out of the civil rights issue.
Are you satisfied with
No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
All right, Doc, you can stop it.
As the greatest demonstration.
Con. So, as you guys see what he was talking about, hopefully you guys could hear it. He's basically talking that that coon stuff. So, he came into the fight towards the end of the civil rights movement, and again, prophecy had to be fulfilled, and he was the one that got it started. All right, I ain't gonna I'll get into a little bit later about the courses of everything, but the Most High is very methodical. You know what I'm saying? So again, he's slow to anger. Now, mind you, this is the 60s, right? So what was going on in the 60s? You had the Vietnam War, and who was over there in Vietnam before we got there? Yeah, the French. Imagine that. So the French was over there doing what they do, and then we went right over there afterwards. But why did we go there? Little Jim, we went over there to get that rubber. We went over there to get some, that was one of their natural resources, rubber. It's a lot of that over there in Vietnam, and we, America, like we went to Venezuela, tried to get that oil and that iron and stuff. We went to Vietnam to get that rubber. All right. So what's going on is the white man, he likes to play chess, even though we invented it. So when you listen to what Martin Luther King was saying, he was talking about, you know, we need to integrate. We need to go ahead and work with these people. He was being blinded. Like, are you serious right now? You grew up in the South. So let's get Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10, Baba Kusha. Because this is something that we need to understand, people. And I think we keep missing this. This is one of those, you know, oldie but goodies. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10.
It's the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12, verse 10. Can I be heard?
Con.
Book of Sirach, chapter Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12, verse 10. It say, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him.
Hold on, Shalakia. Let me make sure that's the right one. Give me a second up.
Awesome. Hey, Shalakia, y'all. The book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. It say, never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusted, so is his wickedness.
Never trust thine enemy. What is wrong with our people? These white folks just had us into slavery, as Martin Luther King stated 244 years ago. Correction, 244 years of slavery, right? Never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So all you people out there, see, here's the funny thing. This cracks me up about black folks. So, yeah, I mean, you got a white friend. You've been knowing him since elementary school. He's been, you know, he had your back. You guys will compare that white friend with that black friend you had that did the same thing, but he messed you over. Okay, let's look at this. That white man didn't come over here on a slave ship. That white man mother wasn't raped and his grandparents wasn't home. That white man wasn't picking cotton. That white man didn't do whatever. Even if that white man got off the ships and started fighting in a so like, people misunderstand slavery. People think slavery was a joke. People keep thinking that, oh, okay, it was that long ago that it didn't happen. But people, it affected us. Never trust thine enemy, for like iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So, like Martin Luther King, he's trying to tell you, like, oh, you know, we need to be together. You know, I had a dream and all this other stuff. Why is it that this man has a doctorate degree in theology? He's very well versed. He is what you call a coon. Now, I'm going to choose my words wisely because I respect the man because of certain things that he did. He did realize afterwards what he did, that it was bad. So, but this is before he realized that. And I'm not saying I made all the great decisions. This ain't about Brother Hashar. It's about Martin Luther King. Okay? His father was a minister. How these guys didn't see these scriptures? Were they coerced to do this? So again, I'm just making a point. We can't compare ourselves to the white people. They were not slaves. They were not inflicted. The last lynching was like 1982. Stop playing with me. Were there white men home? Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Their kids can walk outside safely. You know what I mean? So this is what we need to understand. What Martin Luther King did, it was wrong. But he's thinking just like some of you niggas right now. Oh man, you know, I know I'm a Hebrew Israelite, but you know, they all right. You know, I told this white guy that, you know, he gonna be my slave, and he gave me like $500. But what he don't know is this white guy got all his friends to go to your apartment in the next couple of weeks and kill your ass. You know what I'm saying? It's like it. But what we're trying to get you guys to understand is you can't keep falling for the yoki doke. And this is the 50s, 60s, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden this guy just dies. So the point is, brothers and sisters, we got to get our head out our, as we used to call it, 8 point of contact. That's your butt. All right? Pause. So never trust thine enemy. If we can't say this scripture enough, never trust thine enemy, for like of iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. You guys, we got to get out of that. We're slowly waking up, but you still got Negroes in the mega church because of Martin Luther King, because of all these pastors and stuff like that. Do y'all see he led a whole nation of people into a burning building? And then out of nowhere, 20 years later, we got mega churches. Here's a side note. Jim Baker, this guy slept with like 2 prostitutes. He had a mega church, and every week he would come out and apologize, and his church would get popular and popular and popular. Jim Baker is that one pastor, had the wife, Tammy Faye Baker, had all that makeup on, and she stood by him. And he was the pastor. Every week, this dude banging prostitutes, but he just kept getting popular and popular. That sensationalism of our people is the reason why we keep following this man in these other nations. So sorry about that. So let me get because we need to understand we are a separate people, and there's no way you can tell me Martin Luther King or his dad didn't come across this scripture. Let me get Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6, another classic. There's no way they didn't come across this in theology school.
Can I be heard? Like, can you hear me up?
Yeah, I can hear you up. I got you.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. And it reads, "For thou art a holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth."
Above all people. And go ahead, I'm gonna speak on this for a little bit, but get Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 8 as well. So guys, we are a holy people. What is that? We're separate. How these guys didn't know that, and they went to theological school? How they didn't know? He's a doctor. How he didn't know this? You know what I'm saying? Like I say, reading up on his father and all this other stuff. His father, in my opinion, groomed him. Just reading up on him and stuff like that, because he had one of the biggest churches. He was Baptist. Who started Baptist? Some white guy. They knew coming out of slavery, we are a holy people, guys. This is, the Most High, boy. I tell you, this is it. It's after the hardship, we're still in captivity. This is why all those Black Wall Streets, and we're going to do a class on this. There were way more than Black Tusla. It was way more than that. Hell, Durham. I'm in North Carolina. Durham was like a Black Wall Street. Like, there's so many cities across America that were like that, but they don't want you to know any of that, okay? So, for thou art an holy people. The white man know we are a holy people. We're stand alone. So what did he do? And it started with that cracker, Constantine. You got to give him, he's probably a little smart white dude. He's like, oh, temple's going. Hey, let's go ahead and do a church. You know what I'm saying? And we got churches everywhere. Who mostly go to these churches? Yeah, our people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They done turn Gad and Reuben to a bunch of drunks and alcoholics, because they're on a land that's theirs, and they can't even, whatever. Was Martin Luther King happen? Was he helping Gad and Reuben? It doesn't really talk about that and stuff like that, because just as bad as we got it, they got it worse, but he was talking about our people. So I'm not going in about him not helping Gad and Reuben, but we got to understand, the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, and he knows we are
Right.
God's holy people, okay? And therefore, he know we are special people. So what did he do? He got MLK and everybody else after him or before him to go ahead and fall under that Christianity, that Islam, that Muslim, all that stuff that we do. And it leads us right back into captivity because we're not wearing the proper clothes. We're not paying the proper respect. So you saying to me, every time your son or daughter come home and they say, yo, what's up, Craig? Hey, y'all, I'm hungry. Hey, give me something to eat. Oh, this is my homeboy. Hey, hold up. Craig, I'm your dad. Ah, come on. Look, Craig. So you wouldn't snap every time if you're a mom, your son's calling you Michelle. He not calling you. He's not calling you mom. You wouldn't lose it. You wouldn't lose it. You know what I mean? So we got to stop looking at these scriptures like they don't mean nothing. Just put yourself in that same instance. We are God's holy people. We are a special people. And the white man is just the devil that the Bible speaks of. He's able to utilize us against one another. And the biggest way to do it is with that Christianity. You know what I'm saying? Because we are above all people on the earth. And when you listen to that video, you can look at, he was like, oh, well, you know, I just want us to all get along. We don't need no more segregation. But he was talking more about the you know, just in segregation. You know, he was saying integration, but he was talking about economics and all this other stuff. But for some reason, he made it seem like, in the media made it seem like, oh, he just want to hang out with white people. You know, so for the average white person that's not that smart, it was very brilliant how the media spun that and made MLK made it seem like, oh, we just need y'all to be our friends, even though y'all torture us and stuff. However, we are above them. So again, this is the rise and fall of him. So now we talk about the rise. He's this guy. He's a great speaker, and he's doing everything he can to please everyone, right? Because think about it. When he got too high, he ain't here no more. So let's get Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8.
It's the book, Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8. It say, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel.
Good. See, we're separated, but we keep wanting to be integrated with these people. All right, we always was a separate nation. There's classes on the Tower of Babel. We're not supposed to be together. Why is it when you go in a restaurant and you see all Hawaiian people or you see all white people, you're like, oh, all right. You kind of feel weird. But definitely with the so-called white man. With Esau, you definitely ain't really trying to go in there because they're not our people. No matter what, it's an uneasiness. It's an uneasiness of a feeling. And that goes back to Genesis 25, okay? We are two different nations and we will never like each other. All right. What you made crooked, you can't make straight. Okay. So when it says he divided us, Dr. King and all his followers, I guess they didn't see these scriptures either. You know what I'm saying? Where it says, oh, we're separate. So we are not a part of these nations. And he was so bent on intertwining them with us, it just makes no sense. So, you know, it's prophecy. So we're about to get into it. Why did he make this I dream speech and all this other stuff? So let's get the book of Jeremiah, chapter let's get 23, Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 1 through 2. Baba Kusha. So what we're doing is we dog walking down why is it that Dr. Kane did what he did And like I say, it's prophetic. Okay, you got to understand what was going on. You had the Depression, you had Hitler doing his thing, then you had World War II. Then after World War II, you had the Korean War, right? 1950 to 1953. And that's when the whole civil rights movement started in the 50s during the Korean and American War. Then you had heroin and all this stuff in the 50s in the black neighborhoods, right? Then in the 60s, they tried to bring coke, and then you had Vietnam. So all of this, all these distractions, people. You had all these distractions because everybody act like nothing was going on. There was a lot going on in them 20 years. From 1950 to 1970, a lot of stuff changed. So like, yeah. So Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 1 through 2. Barbecue shop.
John, the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 1. It say, woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith Yahweh. Therefore thus saith the Lord, therefore thus saith the Lord God of Israel against the pastors that feed my people, ye have scattered my flock, and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, thus saith the Lord.
John. Whoa, destruction to the pastors. So he had to be destroyed. And with all those Sambos, those coon dudes that was out there preaching, and all of the brothers, they ain't have nothing. They was you had the Jim Crow laws. One of the Jim Crow laws, you can't spit. And one of the Jim Crow laws on the street in certain states, you can't spit. I lived in Texas for a while. Well, I was stationed a lot of places. But in Texas, they still got on the books, you can't spit. It's against the law. That's a couple of years in prison. So you guys got to think about this. We got out of slavery. You had all these pastor pork chop pimps, pastor pork chop pastors. So you had all these, I'm getting tongue tied. You had all these pork chop pastors who were being Nat Turner. He was a pork chop pastor at first, and then Most High put his spirit on him. He started understanding all that stuff. All right. And then boom, he went ahead and did what Nat Turner did, right? So it's like, all right, so we had Nat Turner. There was no more. After Nat Turner got the spirit on him, right? That was like in the 1840 something like that. That went down. And then, 20 years later, you got Harry Tubman, and then so no pastors got a spirit on them again, like Nat Turner. Make it make sense. So they completed their job. These brothers were coon washed. You don't want to throw that pebble to make those ripples. And this is what Dr. King, he learned from his dad. And his dad, man, it went to war, all this stuff like that. But he was a pastor at Ebenezer, the biggest church in Atlanta, which is probably, I don't know, in my opinion, probably the first mega church. You know what I'm saying? And this guy didn't do nothing, but out of his church, he had a son be one of the biggest pastors ever and lead us into a fire. Was it coincidence? Who knows? But everything is prophetic, right? So woe to the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep. And this is why, Martin Luther King, his dad lived longer than him. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because he was chosen to be that pastor to destroy us, to lead us into that, to scatter the flock. And therefore, God of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people, ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit you. And he suffered when he died. He suffered. To get shot in your throat, and he got shot different places, you choking, blood going all in your lungs. Man, he died like 24 hours later. So he suffered, but he probably had a epiphany, like, man, what did I do? Why did I do that? But it was written. So again, I got my little notes. So he did some wicked things, and his father, both of them were ministers at Ebenezer Baptist Church, right? And his father was a minister for 4 decades. Dr. King was a co-pastor. All right. He preached a couple times and stuff like that. And the Christian church is where a lot of our problems come from. We are holy people. And the other nations know this. And this is why the church is it's such a big deal. But now it's slowly but surely starting to see, like, man, it's something going on, because these mega churches, their congregation is shrinking, and regular churches, people are getting out of that stuff like that, right? So people are starting to see the BS. And Dr. King, he was just another tool in the box being used. We sometimes think we're doing good, but only hurting our people in the end. As we can see, as Hebrew Israelites, we are doing great. And when some of us mess up, I ain't been in the truth that long, but it seems like when people start going to the left, you don't hear about them no more. Okay? I ain't saying they're dying, but you just don't hear about them. So again, in recognition of his efforts to promote equality and justice, Martin Luther King, he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964, right? And then he was assassinated on April 4th, 1968. In Memphis, Tennessee, and we all know what happened with that. But his legacy continues to inspire movements and civil rights and stuff like that. So when we get into it a little bit, when he said, I have a dream, right? So we all know about that, I have a dream. So yes, there was a white man that helped him write that. His name was Stanley Levinson, and also is a black guy too. His name was Clarence B. Jones. A couple people helped write this speech, I have a dream. I have a dream. Now, Stanley, he was a so-called Jewish person, all right? And he was a close advisor and speechwriter. And he was a trusted confidant with Dr. King. Remember, never trust thy enemy, right? These Jewish people have a way of persuading you, have a way of getting into you and stuff like that. Because Dr. King had a small circle. And in order for him to give that speech, if you guys watch the documentary on Netflix, he had to get rid of like 2 people in his circle. And those are the people that wasn't going to allow him to say this speech. But like I say, everything's biblical, right? So anyway, you can Google the guy's name is Stanley Levinson, all right, or Levi. Like I say, he's a so-called Jewish man, Levinson. All right. So let's bring it out. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 23, verses 25. Let's go to 27, verses 25 to 27. Bobby Kushar.
It's the book of Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 25. It say, I have heard what the prophets said, that prophesied lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have had dream.
Keep going.
Verse 26, it say, how long shall this be in the heart of the prophets that prophesy lies? Yea, they are prophets of the deceit of their own heart, which think to cause my people to forget me. Verse 27, which think to cause my people to forget my name by their dreams, which they tell every man to his neighbor, as their fathers have forgotten my name for Baal.
All right. So you guys see right now what? See, this is thing with Negroes, right? So when we think about, we all, some of us on here, we know football. We love football. And if you ask the average person what was one of the greatest comebacks in football, what two teams are you going to say? And most people who are my age, like I say, I'm 50, you're going to say the Bills and the Houston Oilers. The Bills was down like 30 points, and they came back. This is when the Bills, Buffalo Bills, they went to 3 Super Bowls and lost all of them. But it was one of the greatest comebacks. I think it was Houston Oilers. It's one of the greatest comebacks ever in like NFL history. They was down like 35 points. It was crazy, and they came back to beat them. Right. So with that being said, it's one of those things that stick. So he's talking about this prophet that lies my name, talking about he had a dream and stuff like that. What man on the planet is known for the I have a dream speech? Everybody knows Martin Luther King. Now, if you look in history, you'd be like, nah, Con, right? Like, it's like, what people on the planet, when you talk about slavery, you'd be like, oh, yeah, a lot of people in slavery. But as soon as you say, yeah, but they came on slave ships, you're going to say, oh, yeah, those black Americans. Yeah, those dudes. You know, what people is known for blowing up airplanes and blowing up people, going in, putting on bombs and going in homes and whatever and blowing up people? Ishmael or Arabs. This is what they're known for. What people is known for shooting up schools? White people. When you say postal, do you think of an angry black man or Puerto Rican? No, you think of an angry white guy. Serial killers. When we all found out that that black dude was killing people in DC, which, you know, if you look into it, no. But when we found out it was a black sniper killing people in DC, we was like, huh? Everybody lost interest. So, like I say, the Bible is written by us and it's for us. So again, when it says these things by Al, that's that Christianity. That's the mother gods. You know, we gave the other nations deities. Why? Because you're stupid. They beneath us. We made the potato chip. Nobody couldn't make the potato chip. How we come up with the traffic light, and we were slaves forever, and we invented the car. It's crazy to think that we did all this stuff, and we was up here picking cotton and being home, being castrated, but we have the most ingenuity in the world, the children of Israel. So let's keep going. Let's go Jeremiah chapter 23. Let's go verses 28 through 32. Barbecue shop.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 28. It say, the prophet that have a dream, let him tell a dream, and he that have my word, let him speak my word faithfully. What is it like? What is the chaff to the wheat, saith the Lord? Is it not, it's like, is not my word like a fire? It's like, is it not my word like as a fire, saith the Lord, and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces? Therefore, behold, I am against thee, prophets, saith the Lord, that steal my words, every one from his neighbor.
That yeah, keep going. So 32, verse 31, and then 32.
Verse 31, it say, behold, I am against thee. It's like, behold, I am against the prophets saith the Lord that use their tongues and say, he saith, behold, I am against them that prophesy false dreams, saith the Lord, and do tell them, and cause my people to err by their lie, and by their lightness. Yet I sent them not, nor commanded them. Therefore, they shall not profit this people at all, saith the Lord.
Con. So when you guys look at that entirety, it's saying, hey, bro, I ain't what you doing over here? I ain't sending you over here. Why are you talking about something I said? I never gave you the okay to go ahead and come over here to the west side and start talking about what I said. I hold up, come here. You know what I'm saying? Come here. It's one of those things. You know how some Negroes, they like to put your name in their mouth? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Yeah, me and Tyrone, we came up with this. You know what I'm saying? We had a dream that, one day, Tyrone, like, hold up, boy. Hold up, guy. I ain't tell you to use my name. What you using my name for? You know what I mean? Now, it's either fight or flight. You know how we get down. You know what I'm saying? We ain't trying to say we gangsters or nothing like that. But people kill me with, like, they always try to say black people so fast to fight. Do y'all know who our father is? Do you know who he gave? We are just like him. All right? You can't come at us with that disrespect. And you can't put the Most High in your mouth, and he didn't tell you to do that. He gonna come from you. Correction, he's gonna come for you. That's what happens. I don't understand people. You can't run your mouth about something that somebody didn't authorize you to run your mouth. You can't put your man's name and slander in it and everything, and then think you ain't gonna have no get back. So I ain't not trying to tell people go out and kill people, beat people up. But what I'm saying is there's consequences in running your mouth. There's consequences in saying, oh yeah, I had a dream. He led us into a burning building. It's not my word like it's fire, saith the Lord, and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces. It's question mark, right? Is not my word like it's fire? Does not his word burn? So what you're trying to tell me is you're going against the Most High. These guys were supposed to be ministers, Dr. King and his father. You mean to tell me they didn't know what they was doing? 4 decades of being a minister, you had to come across some of this. But see, that's that Christian doctrine. Makes you drunk spiritually. That's what it's designed for. So again, there's nothing new under the sun. And no one else fits the description. It's just like Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. Who else went on slave ships? They cannot calculate anybody else that went on slave ships. Thus, the transatlantic slave trade. So, who else is this that Jeremiah is talking about? I mean, I'm sure you can go in history and try to find it, but who was the most popular person in the world for the I Have a Dream speech? Because they be always trying to debunk this Jeremiah. You know what I'm saying? So, again, that's what this class is about, to let you know. Like I said, we're not trying to belittle Dr. King as far as his family, certain things that he did, but he was given the wrong ammunition. He was supposed to have armor piercing, and he had ballpoint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it didn't penetrate. The guys know armor piercing goes through metal and stuff like that. Ballpoint is going to stop right there. You might be able to catch it. No, I'm lying. It's going to go through your hand. But if you got like a bulletproof vest on or something like that, if a 9mm, 5.56, something like that, it's going to stop. But if you got an armor piercing, it's going to go right through you. And he was just given the wrong clip. It is what it is, right? And this is what this class is about. So let's start that second video. Barbecue Shah, you got anything, brother?
No, go ahead, Alex. Like, yeah.
Okay, come on. Let's get that next video up, Barbecue Shah. Hope everyone's paying attention and getting something out of this. Yeah, this video is going to play for about 5 minutes, okay? And then, we'll go ahead and bring some scriptures out. I'm gonna stay on for a little bit, but like I said, this is again. All right, here we go. Go
on. Three, Civil Rights, King, Van Oker, roll 20, sound 36. And
Dr. King, this church is as good a place as any to go back over your commitment to the civil rights movement. When you went out from here into university and then you went to Montgomery, Alabama and started the bus boycotts there, what was the philosophy of the civil rights movement as you saw it then, more than 10 years ago?
Well, I would say then the philosophy was that we must go all out to use legal and nonviolent methods to gain full citizenship rights for the Negro people of our country. Of course, that particular struggle and that philosophy centered on breaking down all of the barriers of legal segregation. So I would say that in that period, the basic thrust for the gaining of citizenship rights for Negroes was to end the humiliation surrounding the whole system.
Peculiar to the place where you started and the kind of people you attracted. I mean by that, there was a strong attachment on the part of your parishioners in Montgomery to the church.
Yeah, try not to make it big. Just try to make it small. Let it play because it's too much bandwidth. Sometimes you make it big, it starts tripping.
Church.
By and large, they were older people who participated in the boycott because they were the ones using the bus more than anybody else. And the church senate, so that it was because they were in some...
Was there, in addition to your commitment to the idea of nonviolence, wasn't it also the only thing you could do, the white community having them, would have met it with violence? it was the only device open to you, wasn't it?
Well, I'll put it another way, that morally, I was led to nonviolence because I felt that it was the best moral way to deal with the problem. We were seeking to establish a just society. And it was my feeling then, and it is certainly much more socially destructive, and it creates many more social problems than it solves. So I was led to nonviolence for deep moral reasons. Now, there is no doubt about the fact that in our struggle in Montgomery and all over the United States for now, it would just be impractical for the Negro to turn to violence. He has neither the instruments nor the techniques of violence. We're about 10 or 11% of the total population
All right, you
of the
go
nation.
ahead and stop it there.
And I would say we're about 1/10 of the firepower. So it would just be
Yeah, that's all we needed on that. And go ahead and play that short. The one video I sent you, the short, because this video is like 26 minutes long. I was going to let you guys watch this thing so you can see that whole thing. It's pretty informational. So just go ahead and Google, MLK after the I Had a Dream speech, and it's going to come up. But go ahead and play that short for me, Barbecue Shaw. And so what?
Go
ahead, King.
What year was that speech on?
The I Have a Dream.
Yes.
1964.
64. Okay, come.
Yeah, 1964. Hold on. Salakia, 1963.
Come.
All right, you can play the short, King.
anything. In fact, it helped the economic side of the nation to integrate lunch counters and public accommodations. I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, I'm not one to lose hope. I keep on hoping. I still have faith in the future. But I've had to analyze many things over the last few years, and I would say over the last few months. I've gone through a lot of soul-searching and agonizing moments. And I've come to see that we have many more difficult days ahead, and some of the old optimism was a little superficial, and now it must be tempered with a solid realism. And I think the realistic fact is that we still have a long, long way to go. I think the biggest problem now is that we got our gains over the last 12 years at bargain rate, so to speak. Didn't cost the nation anything. In fact, it helped the economic side of the nation to integrate lunch counters and public accommodations. I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, I'm not...
So you heard what he said in the beginning. You know, he was kind of remorseful on what he did. You know, he kind of seen the aftermath and everything. That happens a lot. Sometimes, you know, you go into this world and you'll do something and then you don't see it, you know. But this was like 11 months later. You know what I mean? Most High will put spirits on you. And this is what we be trying to tell you, brothers. You know, you up here, you got a vice or something, you know, vanity, drugs, alcohol, ladies, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're into these anime dolls, whatever your vice is and stuff like that. You know, a lot of times he was speaking the truth, and you can see he was very remorseful in that. And then 11 months later, you know, he was killed after that, you know, and he suffered. And he was suffering even before he died, because again, he led his people into a burning building. And the reason why they say that is because a lot of the young people went to Dr. King was like, look, man, what's up with you saying we need to integrate? That's leading us into a burning building when we integrate it. Remember, Esau hated Jacob. Esau is the so-called white man. We will never get along with them. Then, for our punishment, for not following the law, statutes, and commandments, we get punished. And reason why I bring those up, this video up, is because we have to understand that in order to get respect, in order to take something from these other nations, we have to declare war. There has never been in the history of men where we never went fisticuffs, where we never just said, hey man, listen, I just want peace, brother. Hey, can we hug it out? Can we play dominoes? No. Some furniture had to move. Blood had to be spilled. There's no way you can tell me that this man was I get what he was saying, but he didn't understand the power. Like, he don't understand Yahweh. Because Christians pray to who? Not saying, Jesus some punk. We're not trying to say that. But they pray to Jesus. They don't pray to the Father. In the name of Jesus, we pray, amen. That's what we did when we was Christians. I didn't pray to the Father. I know I didn't. I prayed to Jesus. He got a daddy. But we keep disrespecting. And when we disrespect the Father, you got to go ahead and get that hand. This is why the fathers are out of the household. Why the fathers out of the household? Why all these kids doing all sorts of craziness? Why these young boys going around shooting people? They all in their emotions. Man, you got a problem, talk it out. If not, slap box. We used to slap box. We used to go to the body, or we used to well, that's a pause, but we used to body, we call it go to the body, or we slap box. That's how we did it when we was a kid. We had a problem. Then if it was real beef, we do a fair one, which means a fair one. You know what I'm saying? We would just throw the fair one, and that's it. But it wasn't throw the fair one. I beat you up, and you be like, man, forget that. You go back to the crib and get your gun and come back and shoot up everybody. That's not what it was. You know what I mean? And so we have to get back to our way of life. And Dr. Martin Luther King displayed that Christianity bullcrap because he was supposed to go all out. Let's see what we would have done if we knew that we were our king was Yahweh and our father was Yahweh. Let's get the book of Exodus chapter 15 verses 1 through 3, because the Most High ain't playing.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 15, verse 1. And it say, then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord, and spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord, for he have triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider have he thrown into the sea. Verse 2, it say, the Lord is my strength and my song, and he is become my salvation. He is my God, and I will prepare him and have habitation. My father's God, and I will exalt him. The Lord is a man of war, and the Lord is his name.
Those are very powerful scriptures, okay? So we had to sing to the Most High. You understand? We had to, singing to Him. That's why we had the trumpet and the wilderness and stuff like that, right? This is why in the military, the U.S. Army, I don't know about that Marine stuff, but I know in the Army, we will have the bugle. They get that from Moses. One of the greatest commanders ever was Moses. How this man didn't understand this if he's supposed to be a minister of God. This is how you know Christianity is garbage. His father was a minister for 40 years. He ain't never see it. Are you serious? He never saw Deuteronomy 28:68. Never saw Jeremiah. Even when his son did the speech, like, come on, stop playing with me. The Lord is a man of war. Then you get these stupid people talking about, well, hey, the Lord could be a woman. Come on, man, stop playing with me. Really? It's so crazy out there. You watch these movies, you see white angels, white baby angels. Like, listen, guys, the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. He's going to always have you chasing your tail. And guess what?
Right.
He's going to be standing over watching you chase your tail. I used to see it all the time. And then being a person who worked for the federal government, man, ain't no love. There is no love. I used to be a soldier. 22 service members die a day since 2010. When I went to war in Iraq, we did more combat patrols than Vietnam, World War II vets. This is why all these guys are crazy. Every day we was out there doing patrols. And then we go back to the States. We supposed to act normal. You supposed to handle things the right way. When somebody put cheese on your hamburger, all these different things, you go snap. You go into some type of mode and stuff, right? So again, the Lord is a man of war. And I brought that up, the whole, soldier thing, people dying 22 a day, because at the end of the day, the so-called white man don't give a crap because he got a lot of his people dying. He's losing 100 people a week due to, what's that stuff called? Opioids. Well, I got to take that back. He is trying to do something. He's trying to stop abortions. He didn't declare war on drugs. He put clean needles in the parks so these people can shoot up cleanly. Biden did that, for you blacks who, want to be Democrats and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But the Lord is a man of war. You can't achieve nothing by saying kumbaya and sitting in a restaurant so you can eat next to some white person. What was wrong with these Negroes? That shit was crazy. I don't know. It's the 60s was unbelievable to me. Shouts out to them people. I know they got sprayed. They got eaten by dogs. Hell, my brother got eaten by a dog. He lived, but this dog ate on him for 2 hours. Him and some other dude. Man, they did some stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? They broke into a store. But you know why my brother broke into the store? My brother broke into the store because we didn't have no heat. It was the middle of winter. I forget, it was 1980 something. Man, it was cold. We could see our breath. And my brother broke in there, stole a whole bunch. That's when we had them kerosene heaters. It's in Philly, man. It gets cold over there. So any of you guys know about St. Louis and Chicago, Denver, it gets cold. And we didn't have no heat. So he broke in there, and we had about 30 kerosene heaters. And my mom passed them out through the neighborhood. Like we was what's that white boy name? Robin Hood. You know what I mean? And then my brother did it. He broke into the place again to get some, and then that's when he got caught. And they, Philadelphia police, they let the K9 chew on him and this other dude. You know what I mean? So this is what it was like growing up. I'm sure everybody got a hood story. So the Lord is a man of war. So what did my brother do? He broke into a place. He declared, we like, man, we ain't gonna be cold. We can't afford this and this and that. So he did things, and black men did things for mothers and little brothers and little sisters, we declared like, man, forget it. We're going to do war. Yes, we understand this is an unrighteousness. However, it's in us because the Lord is a man of war. You understand? But for some reason, Christianity, these niggas, hey, man, hey, don't worry about it. Just go ahead and all y'all lay in the same room together and hold each other and just pray. What? Just pray? What are you talking about? And this is what these Christians will teach you to do. All right? So again, you will never get nowhere with nonviolence. Dr. King said we were outnumbered, but as you can see, we sang to the Lord and follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. The Most High will grant us power. However, we were Christians and going against the law, eating pork chop sandwiches. Everybody was freaking out. This was the 60s. Everybody was having sex. They had porn shops, people going there beating off, niggas smoking, snorting 8 balls. It was crazy out there. This was the 60s. Nobody came back from Vietnam yet. This is the early 60s. Then Vietnam kicked off. And who went to Vietnam? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And all them niggas came back hooked on drugs. Why? It was depressing. And they drafted all our people, to go over there and fight the Viet Cong so we can get that rubber. So, again, he said that, we supposed to integrate. But the Most High say, listen, pray to me, sing to me, sing me the psalms, the songs that I want to hear, and I will help you. However, the biggest thing, we supposed to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. These niggas celebrating Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and then think they're gonna go ahead and march and they're gonna get help. You know what I'm saying? Sorry about that, Salakia. This is just tease me off. So let's get we're going to wrap it up here shortly. So let's get the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 20, verse 1 through 4. Baba Kusha.
All right, guys. So book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse. Ooh.
No, chapter 20, verse 1.
Oh, 20, verse 1. So like.
Come.
Guys, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 20, verse 4. It say, for the Lord your God is he that goeth with you.
No, Salakia. Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 1.
20, verse 1. Come. Guys, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 20, verse 1. It say, when thou goest out to battle against thine enemy and seest horses and chariots and a people more than thou, be not afraid of them. For the Lord thy God is with thee, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt.
Con. Keep going to 4.
Me keep going, King?
Yeah, keep going to 4. Con.
And verse 2 it say, and it shall come, and it shall be when ye are at nigh unto the battle, that the priest shall approach and speak unto the people, and shall say unto them, here, verse 3, and shall say unto them, here, O Israel, ye approach this day unto battle against your enemies. Let not your hearts faint, fear not, and do not tremble. Neither be ye terrified because of them. For the Lord your God is he that goeth with you to fight for you against your enemies to save you.
Con. So when it says in verse chapter 20, verse 1, when thou goest out to battle against thy enemies and seest horses and chariots and a people more than thou, be not afraid of them. Who that sound like? That sound like your mama. That say, hey, what you doing? Where you coming from? Why are you crying? Oh, because of what?
Right.
Get back out there. Matter of fact, you get handled, and then you go back out there. You don't run from nothing, Israel. We don't run. This is what we don't do. It's not in our nature to run. You know what I'm saying? This is what we are. We are warriors of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? We go there. This is why we're so passionate with each other. But we're kind of dormant with the white man because he used that white Jesus and all this other stuff, you know, and we get all that. But yo, that sounds like something your parents would say. Hey, hold up. Don't be afraid of them. I got you. God is with thee. Yahweh is with you. So don't be afraid. I did not say go get a gun and go rob a store and God is with you. I didn't say that. All right. I didn't say somebody's banging out your wife or something and go get a gun and go shoot this brother. You know what I'm saying? I didn't say that. You got something out?
John, hey, so like, yeah, no, I was just like we probably a lot of us probably been in that situation, man, where you know, hey, who messing with you out there? Let's go. Let's get outside. Let's go. Come on.
God.
And go handle the situation. Meaning like, no, I don't want to hear that fear. I don't want to hear that fear. Let's go handle it. You know what I'm saying? So like,
it's in us. It's in us. The Water King. It is in us because we are who our Father is. All right. We are the chosen. So we are the closest to Yahweh. We're the closest. Why? Well, we are because, you know, he chose a lineage and that's what we are. And I understand, like, you know, we go hard on our people and stuff like that. But that's for anything. Now, the black people back then in the 70s and below, they would fight the cops and stuff like that. But once we came along, the late 60s, early 70s kids, they was like, look, I don't want y'all to go through it. They made us kind of subservient. Like, all right, just say yes, sir, no, sir. They was out there fighting forever, but they didn't want the same for us. You know, they kind of lost it. Because these YNs, let me tell you, I don't like calling YN. These young brothers, you can say what you want. These brothers don't got no fear for cops. I seen it. I was like, damn, he said F you? I was nervous. I was like, shit, I'm 36. I was in Charlotte. Young boy, had to be like 20. Cop was like 80. He was like, man, shut the I was like, oh, shit. So shut the. I was like, okay. All right. I ain't never cussed at a cop. I ain't gonna lie, I haven't. These young boys, they ready. All they need is us, old heads. Stop hating on these young brothers. Old heads, stop it. They just, you know, they got some zeal in them. And they got that ambition. We just got to guide them. Yeah, I know they don't call you sir. They be like bro and yo, what's up, nigga? I get all that. But we got to love them and we got to have some patience for them, you know, because, yeah, they young and they don't really respect the old heads like that. Can you blame them? You know what I'm saying? So, again, we have to stop this old head, young buck fight, and we got to will these young brothers in. You know what I mean? So, again, when it says that, you know that's your, because most of us raised by our moms. That's mom right there. Where you going? You afraid of who? You know, and it's saying in these scriptures, you know, the Most High is with you. See, Martin Luther King didn't understand that. He was blinded by the white Christianity. And he was trying, like, what did he say? I want to do it my way. No fighting, no guns, non-violence. Where did that get him? He's in a casket. And he couldn't be raising his friend, his son, his family all jacked up. His kids, they hate each other. There's so much turmoil going on, with the Kings. It's sad, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Coretta did the best she could. And no diss to the Kings, but we read the stuff on social media. If it ain't true, then come out and say it ain't true. But they've been suing each other and all sorts of stuff been going on with them, right? We read these scriptures. I'm going to get everybody. I'm going to mess you up and your family. And it's been turmoil with them ever since. Because I believe Coretta died in like 2006. I was in Iraq, so I don't remember. But to make a long story short, we got to stop counting on nonviolence. No one say be violence, but in order to get what we need to do, first thing, follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, and then he will give us the ability to go ahead and handle our enemies. And this is what's going on with us. This is where that purge is coming in. So again, the Most High, he got your back. And in the time of doubt, Israel, and as we approach these last days, we do not need more false prophets leading the majority into the fire, because he led a lot of brothers to the fire. All right. Now they want to do a hate campaign and smear his name, although he realized at the end he was wrong. It is what it is. So the rumors of Martin Luther King, right? They said he was sleeping with women. He was doing all this stuff. So in the 60s, everybody know about J. Edgar Hoover. He was the head of FBI. He did a surveillance on Martin Luther King and recorded his phone calls and stuff like that. Basically, the white guy lied on him. Okay? Because if you look at J. Edgar Hoover, dude he was like I don't know if he's a pedophile, but he used to wear stockings and pantyhose and bras and stuff like that. He's a white man, who's the most profane, vile person on the planet? It's a white man. So he probably was banging little kids and stuff like that. So we all know the history of the FBI real quick. FBI was started because of Jack Johnson, who was a heavyweight champion boxer back in the 20s, I think. And he used to bang white women. You know what I'm saying? And so they wanted to get this dude. So the FBI sparked up because of Jack Johnson, the boxer. And then they got the Mann Act. Who in jail over the Mann Act? Your boy, P. Diddy. Which is dumbass. He should be in jail. Why should he be in jail? Because he's stupid. He's trying to do what the white man does. He got turned out by them. And he tried to turn his people. Well, he turned his people out. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he get. Now he's going to get out. But hopefully he repented and do what he need to do. And I don't know, he might go back. Who knows? But again, that's even if he gets out. So when J. Edgar Hoover did all this stuff, we all heard about it. I'm sure you heard about it. That Martin Luther King had white women, that he made babies, he was talking on the phone, all this stuff. Where's the proof? Where's a Martin Luther King white baby? Where's the white women saying, oh yeah, he hit it? See, they didn't have that back then. They wasn't going around with contracts giving women money. They created that. Now what they do is what they did to Bill Cosby. They tried to do it to Judge Joe Brown. They go around where you at and they find out who the broke is, and they give you money and say, hey, I want you to go ahead and testify against this guy. And you get, $5,000-$6,000. I can write that off as a lunch or a trip if I got an LLC. Rich people know how to write everything off. You know what I'm saying? So this is what they do. So again, some stuff started. None of that stuff was true about him banging white chicks, talking on the phone, making love, having orgies in hotels. None of that was proven. All right. So that's what they did to him to ruin his name. you know, because they knew if we research it and we would do it, we would never find that scripture in Jeremiah. They did it on purpose because they knew, you know, the left gets some, they get some lickies and chewies too. So this is the last video, okay, guys? It's 22 or 10:05. Let me get the last video. Let's start it at 25 seconds. And then that is it for tonight. So hopefully everybody understand what I was basically going into. And we all know about MLK, but I just wanted to give you the rise and fall of him. You know, he was a co-pastor with his father. He did a lot of good things. His father was a minister for over 4 decades, and he became the activist and everything. And they tried to say that the movement was with the sanitation workers. I'll get into that when I close out, but well, I'll get into it a little bit. So basically, the trash workers, that was the end of the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement started, as you're going to see, it's going to talk about it. We'll let the video play and stuff. So start at 25 seconds and go ahead and play the video, King. Appreciate you. Like I said, hopefully everybody's getting edified. If you're getting tired, play it tomorrow.
Really stokes the fervor of the nation. Then, in December of 1955, Rosa Parks decided as an act of resistance that she would not give up her seat to a white man on the bus.
Rosa Parks' deliberate act of resistance led to a bus boycott that thrust into the limelight a young preacher with a PhD. He would become one of the movement's most charismatic leaders. His name was the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
One of the most iconic moments is the March on Washington in 1963, led by Martin Luther King Jr.
200,000 people converge on the nation's capital to rally for civil rights. They come united in one cause.
One day right now in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
This becomes visualized on the news and begins to change the way that Americans are starting to think about the civil rights movement.
As the civil rights movement attained greater visibility, it was often met with increased brutality and violence. Yet in the midst of so much sacrifice and heartbreak, the work of civil rights activists began to bear fruit.
In 1964, President Lyndon Johnson signs the Civil Rights Act of 64, and that's designed to desegregate businesses and employment.
And then in started at 20
President
seconds.
Johnson, voting rights.
Yeah, 20 seconds. Salakia, sorry about that.
Part of the formal civil rights movement, Brown versus Board of Education. Brown really stokes the fervor of the nation. Then, in December of 1955, Rosa Parks decided as an act of resistance that she would not give up her seat to a white man on the
led to a bus boycott that thrust into the limelight a young preacher with a PhD. He would become one of the movement's most charismatic leaders. His name was the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
One of the most iconic moments is the March on Washington in 1963, led by Martin Luther King Jr.
200,000 people converge on the nation's capital to rally for civil rights. They come united in one cause.
Okay. So that right there. All right. So the civil rights, it started with the Brown versus Board. We all heard about that. I don't know what they're teaching y'all in school right now, but the Brown versus Board was a pretty big deal. And that started like in the 50s. Then the Rosa Parks stuff started. Now you hear about the first lady who was she was dark skinned and she was pregnant. She was the one that didn't want to give up her bust. That shows you right then and there that America was doing this whole this media baiting. Rosa Parks was light skinned. The other chick was dark skinned. So they figured nobody would say nothing to a dark skinned pregnant chick. Like, what are you talking about? She's black. But this that whole race thing. Same thing in the 80s and 90s, mostly the 90s, where all the video girls were light skinned. We all heard of Superhead. She's light skinned, you know. So, with that being said, if your skin is light, everything is right. That whole brown paper bag thing, that was a real thing. So, we still segregated by different colors of people. Like, it don't even make sense. Like, what? But this is what they did, you know? And these are all the psychological games they was playing with us. So, even if you go back then, it's the same thing now. You know, when certain things happen, if it's somebody that's lighter or darker, they keep bringing in the race, the colorism thing, right? We don't need to worry about that. All right. It's you have to understand who the Most High is and what he's going to do for you. So let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 31, verses 14 through 15. Because if you keep trying to do things on your own, you're not going to be successful. So Psalms 31, verses 14 through 15. Bobby Kusha.
It's the book of Psalms, 31, verse 15.
Yeah, Con. Verse 14 through 15.
It's the book of Psalms, 31, verse 14. It say, "But I trusted in thee, O Lord. I said, thou art my God. My times are in thine hand. Deliver me from the hand of my enemies, and from them that persecute me."
Con. So we have to stop looking for them to help us. Only the Most High can help us, and can clearly see the buildup to the beginning. You can clearly see the buildup to the beginning of the civil rights. Okay, the movement and how the prophet with the dreams spearheaded it, and then boom, we integrated. But their economics growth and not ours, or their economy grew but not ours. I just wanted to give a different look about the whole MLK. So that whole integration and all that was about money. It was about money. They brought that out. A lot of brothers brought that out. That's a different subject. Okay, I ain't trying to get into that tonight, but it was all about money. It was all about a lot of stuff, same-sex marriages, all this. It was just a lot of crazy stuff that was with that Civil Act, the Civil Acts Right Act and stuff like that. The Civil Rights Act. There was a lot of BS in that. All right. So again, the civil rights movement did not initially begin over black trash truck sanitation, as people like to say, workers becoming drivers and stuff like that. It was towards the end of the movement, and that's all. Nobody even put Brown versus education in there. All right. So somebody asks, was Jim Crow also in place during the civil rights era? Yes, Jim Crow's in place now. That's where the Man's Act comes from. That's during the Jim Crow era. All right. That was in the early 1900s. So yes, Jim Crow Act or Jim Crow's laws are still in effect. They're still in the books. They can still utilize them on you. That's why you have to be careful. So again, I gotta wrap it up quickly. So guys, love you guys. I hope everyone got a little understanding on who Dr. King was and what he wanted to do for the black community. But in essence, he was used and then murdered. They lied on him to disparage his legacy. And although he was a false prophet, they used him to lead his people into a burning house. And that, like I said, at the end of the day, it's thus saith the Most High. He's in the Bible as that guy. But for some reason, Christianity will blind you. You know what I'm saying? And maybe he read that scripture, because when he was getting interviewed, he seemed really like he seemed really like distraught. You know, the interview where his color, he seemed like, man, you know. So you gotta let me get one more scripture. Let me get Proverbs chapter 16, verse 7. Proverbs chapter 16, verse 7. Barbecue shop. Book of Proverbs, 16, verse 7.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 7. Book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 7. It say, when a man's ways please the Lord, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with them.
All right. So you guys got to understand something. When you're not following these laws, statutes, and commandments, and you say, oh, honey, I'm going to run to the store, or you're going to go see your side John, you're going to go see your drug dealer, you're going to go see the person you gambling with, you're going to go ahead and steal a car, whatever you're going to go do. When a man's ways please the Lord, you're going to make it even with your enemies. So people, when you go and you do stuff, he's going to get you back. You have a recorder angel, and you have an angel, your guardian angel. He sees everything. I understand you can't see it, but he's there. And if you're one of those people, when you do something wrong, something always come back to you, yeah, you gotta stop. You ain't gonna be here long. All right. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. We get these last scriptures. This is what you need to do. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13 and 14. Baba Kusha. And I like to say this. One last thing. Christianity is the new black person's kryptonite. All right. Christianity is the new black person's kryptonite. So stay away from it. If you watch Superman, it drains you of your intelligence. So stay away from Christianity. Go ahead, brother. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13 and 14.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. It say, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahweh and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of men. For God's like, for you.
Go ahead, Cam.
You want 14?
Yeah, verse 14.
It say, for God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil.
God. So again, you got to do the right thing and follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, and you'll see it will definitely help you out. And he's in every secret place. He's everywhere. When you think you don't see him, he's there. And if you feel guilty, make sure whatever you do, you repent, you fast, and I get it, guys. I get it. It's hard. We've been into this stuff 20, 30, 40 years, and now we Hebrew Israelites. Like, what? We all understand, okay? Our elders been doing this stuff for 30 some years. I can't imagine being a Hebrew Israelite in the 90s. We was wilding, freak meat, the Greek. We was doing all that crazy stuff. So, love you guys. Let's go ahead and get these prayers out the way. And hopefully everybody got edified. So let's go ahead and face the east. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do the Lord's Prayer in Paleo Hebrew. I'm struggling, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to do it. All right. So Abanawa, Shabashanyam, Kadash, Haya, Shabka, Aya, Malak, Wapka, Dabarakasaya, Haya Ish Arataza, Kala Haya, Bashamayim, Nachdalayim, Lakam, Kayam, Wasalaknawa, Chafanaknawa, Kasalaknawa, Chazyanawa, Wala'a Nawa, Basanam, Abahashnawa, Manrakaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Walawa, Waha, Dapawa, Layayam, Aman. All right. So let's get in the book of Matthews, chapter 9, or Shalakia. The book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power forever. Amen. Con. All right. So all praises. You guys have a safe and blessed night. And remember, never trust our enemy. All right. To Irons Russell. And if you got family members that's into Christianity and stuff like that, talk to them, but don't diss them and stuff like that. The Most High ain't ready for them. If your wife is a Christian, just bear with her. If your husband is a Christian, just bear with them. Have some decorum, and just keep praying that the Most High wake him up. And if it's His will, they get on this ride with us. So I'd like to say, love you guys. HOI to the Chariots Fry, Death to America. Shalom.
Done.
God.